Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So guys, we will be doing a CRUD application from the scratch using Laravel, your Vue JS and your Vuex. So guys, we'll be learning in this series like our core concepts of our Vuex, that is your state, getter, mutations, where actions, modules, everything. Okay, and we'll be using advanced application structure also for this our Vuex. So guys, now let's begin with installation part from the part 1. So yes guys, let's go to a Laravel documentation and you can install this via composer. To install this application you need to have a composer guys, so please make sure you install the composer. Let's go to our htdocs under XAMPP folder. Let's open a git bash or a command prompt and paste where I want to change this application to Laravel Vue and hit enter. Let's wait guys to get installed. Okay, so the folder is created guys and this is the application, but it's still installing, so let's wait to get installed fully. So guys, successfully installed, and let's close this. Let's open in our editor guys. So guys, now let's open our terminal and install our Vue in our Laravel application. So guys, for that you need to install a Laravel UI package. So composer require Laravel/UI, hit enter. So guys, it's successfully installed now, and let's install the Vue guys. So php artisan UI space Vue double hyphen auth, okay, and hit enter. So perfect. Please run npm install and npm run dev. First guys, let us run this npm install. So npm install. Okay, so guys, let's wait for this to get installed. Let me just make it to full width. Okay, so guys, npm installed successfully. So guys, after successfully npm is installed, then we are going to install all the Vue's libraries and its packages. So guys, for that there is a single command. So let's install at once. So you can just copy this and paste and hit enter guys. So it will install our Vue compiler, Vue loader, Vue router, Vuex and Axios and Vue Axios, all the things. So let's just wait guys to get installed for this. Okay, so you can find that all set, and now guys, let's run the npm run dev to set all the things. Let's see. Okay, so it's building it guys. So guys, you can see that Laravel mix, it's already compiled successfully, all set guys, and you can execute the output now. So once if you get no error and all, it's all set. So now guys, let me just minimize and show you the package.json file. So inside this you can find all the dev dependencies as your loader, router, Vuex compiler, SAS loader, everything, and your Axios too. So guys, now let me just close and let's run this. So let's go to our folder and open the git bash guys, or else if you're using command prompt, not issue, just serve it. So php artisan serve, hit enter, all set, started. Let's go to our Google Chrome and just start with the localhost 8000. Okay, so Done, guys. And now let's see the example of Vue JS. So let's move. First step, guys, let's go to resource, where JS, inside this JS component you have an example. So we want to view this example data. This is view. So guys, for that you just need to set up one simple route. Let's go to web.php and copy and paste. Let's create a bleed file with the name example, okay, because we are going to do the example component. Let's move to views and directly create the file, guys, example.blade.php. Done. And for designing and all, you can just use that layout, so which has all this header, footer, everything, okay. So I'll be using this. Let's just extend that at extends, where you will tell layouts folder app.php, and let's call the section content and end section. Inside this we will create a div tag where you will give a id is equal to view hyphen app. Done. Now this content is coming from your extended layout, okay. So inside this you are going to show the output. So with this id, how are you going to call? You just need to go back to your component, and this example component is called in our app.js file, okay. So you can see that your view component example, and which is set over here, okay. So if you go to this page, you'll move to example component, okay guys. So now you just need to change over here, make it to view app, so it will be clear, guys. So you are setting that new app, and this app.js calls in a particular id. So how it is connected, this is all, it's handled by the Laravel, so you do not need to worry. Just create the route, and over here I am going to create a route with the name example, guys. So let's copy and go /example. If you give, perfect, but you did not get the output. Let's see why. We will start the application. So your artisan is already start, but your view one we have to start. So for that, guys, npm run watch you have to give. So let's enter, and here, guys, it started. So now let's just wait to finish building it. All set, guys. It is shown as built successfully. Let me just show you. Here it is built successfully, guys, but over here you are getting an error. So this is toast error, that alert error. So in my system it is not set, so it is showing like that, okay. So now, guys, let's go to our web.php and copy the route, and let's see the output. Enter. Okay, so we are not getting the output. Let's go back. So now this id is also correct. Oops, we have not called the component, guys. So you need to call this example component inside your example blade file. So for example, here in this you can see they have set it, okay. So let's copy this, because the same example component we have to call. You can just make in this way. That's it, guys. So this example component, make sure you register in the app.js at this place. So that is the thing we are going to show, okay. And now you can see the output. Refresh. Perfect. So guys, we have successfully executed the Vuex Vue.js and Laravel application. So yes, guys, let's continue next CRUD applications, how to set up and create a student CRUD application in Vue.js and Vuex. And now insert the data into our database using Vuex, okay. So guys, now let's get started. So first we need some demo to create the CRUD application. So guys, we will be starting with the student data. So let's go to our Laravel application and let's close all this. So first step, guys, let's connect our database. Let's move to .env file, and this is my database, Laravel Vue. So copy and paste that. So database connection set. Now guys, let's begin with creating the migration model and controller for student. So PHP artisan make colon migration create underscore students table, hit enter. Yep, created migration. Let's go to database migration, where you'll find at the last the students table. And now guys, let's add the fields over here of string, where we will tell the name and the class, the section, and his email, guys. Okay, let's add one status also over here. So is he active or not active? So you can use tiny integer. So tiny integer, and by default we should make it to 0. So let's add 0. All set. Now guys, let's migrate these tables. PHP artisan migrate. So all the tables got migrated, guys, over here, as you can see. So now guys, let's create the model. So PHP artisan make colon model. I want student model. Okay, so just create student. Let's go to app model, where student.php model has come. Now guys, define or assign the table is equal to, where the table name is students. So let's copy the student and call its fields. So $protect $fillable is equal to the student name. Next is class. The next was section, and final was email, guys. And one was status. Done. Now guys, we have successfully set up the model, and now guys, let's create a student controller. So PHP artisan make colon controller, where I want the controller name as student controller. Hit enter. Created. So you can go to HTTP controller, where student controller is done. Now guys, let's create a function. So first we'll be creating the data. So let's use create function, and inside this let's return view, where I want to view the data. Oops, public function, the data. Okay, so student dot form. So let's create that. So go to resource views. Inside views, I want one student folder, and inside that student folder, let's create a blade file with the name form.blade.php. All set. So now guys, we need to create a route for this to call the form page. Let's close. Let's go to routes web.php. Okay, so route colon get method, where you will tell add student with the controller, that is your student controller colon class, and to the create function. Okay, so import the class, guys. All set. When it goes to create function, it moves to this function, and this will take you to the form blade. Perfect. So now guys, let's extend. We are already having that app.blade.php while creating the view auth. So let's extend that. Extends layouts dot app, and call its content section content and end section. Now guys, over here create a div tag, where we want to start with the view app. Okay, view hyphen app. So this will set up the view file. Okay, So over here we are going to create the student form. Okay, so let's tell student form hyphen component, open and close. All set, guys. So guys, now inside this I'll pass some things, so which is like we are going to do all the work inside this one file, like edit, show and create. Okay, so within one file only we'll be doing all the tasks. So for that, guys, let's give a scope is equal to double quotes where open and close $scope scope. Okay, and one id also we need to pass, give colon id double equal to, where if there is a data, so you can take id, else it should assign with 0, guys. Now this data should be passed from your controller, so you can just copy this scope and get back. So where you'll pass with the data is equal to open and close bracket, where you will tell scope is scope. Okay, so this is the scope you are taking, and inside this you are going to assign create value, and let's take this data and pass into your with function $data. So in this $data you are taking this scope, copy this scope, go to the form and paste that over here. All set, guys, and now let's create the component. So we are going to start with Vue now. So first step, guys, let's go to resource, where JS inside components we require one folder with the name student. Okay, so let's create a file, student form component.vue. Okay, so guys, now let's set up the Vue things over here. So you can just copy from our example component given by Laravel. Okay, so let's copy this and just paste that full thing. Done. So we are not going to use this bootstrap, instead we'll be using element IO bootstraps. Okay, so we will be using this element.io. so just go to the component and you can just install this. So we are going to use this user interface, so let's install this package. Okay, so guys, we have successfully installed this. Let's see this plugin is installed, package is installed or not. Let's go to package.json, where you'll find element.ui. Okay, so let's close this, and yep, now guys, we will be starting with, here you can search for the card and many other things. So this is a basic card, let's use this. Let's remove, just start with div, open and close, where element card and close element card. Okay, so after card we need a header. Let's go back, and here it is. So let's copy this. Okay, let's paste here, and now guys, inside this let's use element page header. So element page header, inside this you can just type at back, it will be go back function, and let's give the content, where you will mention, just use backtick, guys. Over here it's a backtick below escape button, and hyphen dollar open and close curly brace, and the thing you have passed, that is your scope scope. So this scope is coming from your form bleed file. So over here we are taking this scope and pasting here. All set, and now guys, let's create that body. Let me just give a div tag over here, and from here we will start creating the form. So for that, let's just give right now form only to test it, and the name component, here will be a student hyphen form hyphen component. And now guys, let's copy this and register in your app.js. So you can just copy and paste. Let's take this student form component, which will be your, let's remove this, tell inside components folder I have a students folder, inside student folder I have a student form component. So let's type student form component dot view. All set. So make sure this thing is same as your blade file form component. Okay, it should be same as it is, and it should be linked with the Vue app in your app.js. So whatever you have over here, that should be in your blade file. All set guys. And now let's go to web.php. Let's copy this URL. Let's move, give forward slash and paste. I hope no output will come. Perfect. So now guys, let's npm run watch. So guys, let's wait until it gets started. So guys, it's successfully built, and now build successfully. Let's refresh once again, and you have got the output. Perfect guys. So now guys, let's begin with designing the form. Let's go to our Vue component, and yep, let me just give a container inside this dot container, because it should be a container, so it will be good. Now guys, let's move to our student form component and start with the element form. So it's just same as everything, you need to just add el before that, and inside this you need to specify the model and all. So model is equal to model where colon rules, this will be the validation rules and all if you want to use, and let's give that name. So this will be my student form. Okay, element row, and this will be getter is equal to 10, and your form items, element form item where is equal to name, and we want to keep this as required for the validation, and the props we are passing, that will be the name. So after this we want the input, so element input, so v hyphen model, your view data model dot name. Okay, so we'll be taking all the objects in a model, and if you want to give a placeholder, let's give that placeholder where we will tell student name, and if you want for the read only, we will see later. All set guys. So same way you are going to copy this and paste for the name. This is the class where we'll tell class model.class, then section, and final one email guys. Email, let's give email and email. Section class. So now guys, let's see the output for this. Refresh. So we are not getting the output guys. So for that we have not included the file in app.js. It's too messy. Let me remove this all uncommented, commented lines. Okay, so first here we have to import the path, that is your element UI. Let's go this and move to quick start. So over here the code is available. Let's copy this and paste after your bootstrap requirement. Let's remove this, not required now. And here is to use this element UI. Save. And now guys, let's see the output. Let's go refresh. Okay, still we are not getting the output. Let's see why. Let's move to console. Okay, so there are many errors guys. Because of that, it's not showing the output because we have not yet set up this too. So let me just comment all the things and just echo hello inside my element card. So at least card design should work. You can refresh now. Perfect. So guys, we have got the design, and now let's implement those things so it should execute. Let's Control Z and uncomment the form. So now guys, first let's move to our script. So guys, now we have to handle our input fields and all. So for that guys, you just need to move to a Vue JS document. So I have already opened it guys now, and you can move it handling user inputs and all. So over here you need data and methods. So let's copy this and paste that. Let's give comma. So and now inside this data, let's return open and close curly brace. So instead of colon, we have to use function guys, so not colon. We have misspelled, so it should be return, not return. And model colon open and close. So this is my name colon null, and then the class section and email. Okay, so this represents model dot name. Okay, so you can find that model dot name, class, section and email. And what about this props? So this props is referred from your form. So from this model dot name, model dot class, so this props is going on. Okay, so in that way it will validate your input fields. So all set. If you want to give rules also, so you can assign this rules colon open and close. So for this rules we will be learning in further videos. So in this video we are just going to insert the data with validating. Set up now. Now let's remove this. Over here we are using one back function. Go back. Let's copy this and paste that over here. Function open and close, where we will tell window dot location dot href is equal to inside single quotes or double quotes, you can use anything, slash your students. So when you view the data, so at that time you'll be using that. So let's give right now itself, and one function save form. Okay, open and close. This save form will come under your button, save button. Where is the button? Okay, we didn't create that, so let's create it. So this is the row. Let's create a separate row for the button, element row, and we are going to use the same form item. And let's remove this, give element hyphen button, and the type is equal to, this will be success. Okay, so we are using element UI guys, so it's little different. And the button name will be save student, and the function at click is equal to where save form function. So this save form or save student function, here inside this I want to pass the form name for validating the requests. So let's copy this and send that form name. Okay, this is your student form. Let's go back to the methods. Inside this you can tell form capital NAME name. Okay, so this will be a form name. So now guys, let's see the output. Okay, refresh. Perfect, guys. So here it is showing some, I don't know which language is this. So if you want to change this language, you can just move to this internalization and change that. Okay, so now guys, let's continue. So now guys, you can just click on this input, and if you come out, you can see name is required. Validation is already done now. Okay, so until unless its validation is given, you cannot save the student data. So guys, now let's get back and let me just remove this. Now guys, we have to save the data. So our Vuex concept starts here. So yep guys, let's move to app.js file and go to Vuex website. So you can just move from here, ecosystem or Vuex. Okay, and here is your core concept, guys. So for this, these are the things for Vuex. Let's go to application structure and create a structure in this format. So let's copy the store. So move to resource.js. Inside JS, I want to create a folder named store. And from here, let's create all the files. Actions.js. As you can see, actions mutation.js. Let's copy this and create mutations. And getters also be required. So this is your getters. Let's tell getters.js, and one finally, that is your index.js, which stores the export the store. Okay, so let's copy this store. I don't want to keep as index, let me keep as store, which will be more clear. So store.js. All set guys, and your app.js is already defined. If you want to create the modules and all, we'll see in further videos how to move on with modules, but we will see how to use Vuex in Laravel Vue. So yep guys, let's get back. So first we will start with the store function, store.js file. First step guys will be import Vue from Vue, where same way you're going to import Vuex from Vuex. Okay, and then guys, let's use getters. Import your getter file. Okay, getters getters from the path ./getters.js file. Okay, and then your mutations. Let's set up everything over here, mutations, which will be your mutations file. And the final one, your action. So I want to call all the fields from the action as, actions, the page name action. And now let's use view.use function to call the Vuex. So this Vuex, you are importing that. And now guys, let's export variable store is equal to new Vuex.store function. Okay, open and close curly brace, where inside this you will call your modules colon open and close, comma, then your state state colon open close, comma, and then your mutation, comma, your actions, and finally your getter. All set. So all these things should be called, and now guys, this file will, this store.js will be called in your app.js file. Let's get back. So you can just import after this element, before the element, so you can just store from the path store folder, oops, give dot before store folder where store.js you'll call. Okay, all set, and you can pass inside this, creating the app store. Perfect. So now guys, let's go back to store. From here you will call all your Vuex things. So guys, first as we want to save the data, so let's write the code to save the data. Okay, so let's get back, refresh. So guys, now when I click to save the student, so that time it should validate all the fields. So there is one function from this element UI. Let me just type directly. Okay, so this dot $refs, your reference of the form name dot validate function, where here you're going to open and close curly brace, where inside this you will tell valid, then and then guys it will check all the valid details. So you can just give in a if condition. If it is valid, then you're going to insert the record, where this ref is checking with the form reference and then form name. Okay, so yep, let's use this dot $store. Okay, dot dispatch. So this all are pre-built, okay, inbuilt things, so you don't have to worry about this from where it's coming. Dispatch function, where you will tell save student. Okay, so this will be a save student action, comma this dot model. All set. So this dot model means your model fields value. Okay, so from inside this, how you're getting the data, let me just show you a demo over here. Okay, let's go to Vue. You just need to download one, active the extension for. Okay, so let me type, this is my model, data model. Let's type name SDS, where you can see that SDS. Let me just type the class as BCA. You can see data is coming. So we will take this data and insert the record. Yep, let's get back. So now guys, let's go to dispatch this save student. So first you need to move to action.js file. So let's go to action. So first let's import guys, import Vue from Vue, and then export variable as save student is equal to open and close bracket, where inside this curly bracket commit, comma, tell payload. So all the data will be coming from here. Open and close curly brace. So over here guys, you are going to, let me create one URL. URL is equal to, where I'm going to use backtick / save student semicolon, and now let's call Axios dot post method, then response. In this you will pass the URL and then your input fields value, that is your payload, and then guys you are going to show the message. So guys, in this element UI we have a notifier, so we will use that notifier over here. Vue.prototype dot $notify, open and close function, where you will insert title : success, comma, copy and paste. Next will be your message, where you will tell student created successfully, and then success the type. All set. After this I want to windows.location.header href is equal to where I want to move to students page. Okay, so we don't have right now, but it will redirect over there. So guys, if you want to use loader and all, so you can just, let me remove this, we don't require. Let's create a function, show loader, open and close function. So now before that, let's use one let loader is equal to null, and here loader is equal to view dot prototype dot dollar loading, open and close, where open and close curly brace first will be lock colon is equal to true, and the text colon text. So this text will be from your function name. So let's pass that. By default we'll keep as loading if anyone use as empty, else we will send the data, and then your spinner, the icon will be icon hyphen loading. Okay, and the background, if you want to give like RGB A5, and this will be the background color. So this will be for the show loading, and for, let's create one function for hide loader, open and close, loader dot close function, and the function show. So let's copy this show loader, and before sending this actual request, you can show that over here as saving student, okay, inside single quotes, and after showing this we want to close that, so you can just copy this, hide loader after your success message. So now let's test it, guys. Let's get back and refresh. Let's move to console first, so there should be no error for that. So see, you can see that it's undefined, scope is not defined. Okay, let's define that. Where is our form component? Inside this, let's use props colon open and close curly brace, where you can define the scope, scope colon as string. Okay, so let's remove this and add comma. We have made mistake. Save, refresh. Perfect. So the create data is coming, guys. All set. And let's save the data. Let's insert the data with Prakash, BCA section A, and email with @gmail.com. Let's click to save. Let's see what happens. Saving student, and here is error is showing 404. That means URL not created. So let's create that, guys. Okay, it's a simple error. For this action we didn't create the URL, so let's go to web.php and create a route with the post method. So it's almost done, guys. Finally, let's go to the student controller comma store function. Let's go to student controller public function store function, and inside this $student new of student semicolon, and from here you are going to input all the fields. So name is equal to your request. Okay, request request. You need to get all the requests from your Axios $request, where request of input field name, copy and paste. This will be a class, where assign the class. Next is section and your database field section, and then email. Okay, so that will be the email. And after this, guys, you just need to save the record, save open and close function, and after this return response in JSON format. So you can open and close square bracket where you will tell status is 200 success, and then the message you will show as student saved successfully. Okay, all set. And now, guys, let's test it once again. Let's refresh. Here we go. So with Prakash, BCA A section, and with at gmail.com. Let's click to save student, saving student. Let's see. Okay, so we are getting 500 internal error. Let's see what is that. Let's move to network. So you can see student not found. So student not found means model is not imported. So just need to import the model. Import, and here it is. Okay, so now, guys, let's refresh once again and insert the data. Let's go to console with Prakash, BCA A, where with at gmail.com. Let's click to save. Saving student. Student created successfully, and it's redirected to student's page. Perfect. So, guys, as we have done that code to redirect on the student's page. Okay, so, guys, we have successfully done how to use a Vuex in Laravel Vue JS application. And now, guys, let's see in the next how to fetch those records in our Vue JS using Vuex. Okay, so now let's fetch all this data. Whatever we insert the data, we have to fetch in our table using Vuex. Okay, so, guys, let's get started. So first, let's create a route with the students. Okay, so let's copy and go to our web.php. So let's move to web.php, routes web.php, and create a route using get method where you will tell students comma and your controller. So my controller is student controller colon class with the function name index. Copy and go to your student controller and create a function, guys. Public function where the function name will be index. All set. And now, guys, over here let's return view where you will tell student folder where I want to create a view blade file. Let's move to the resource views student. Inside student, I want to create a file with the name view.blade.php file. Spelling mistake. We have to add a dot. All set, guys. And now let's copy from our form code and paste that. So we don't require all these things. And let's change the component name from student table component. Okay, so let's make it this, and as simple, guys. Now let's create a student table component in our app.js file. So let's move to resource.js in app.js. Let's add that view.component function where inside this you are going to mention that view student table component. Okay, and then call the path. Let's paste here, and instead of student form component we'll make it as table component. Copy this and create the file inside your component, guys. So inside the students, let's create the student table component. Done. So, guys, now we have set up the things from our form. Let me close all the things so it will be much clear. So first it was our view, So from Vue you went to app.js. From this, how is this called? Using this id Vue app. So make sure in your Vue blade file you are adding that Vue app. Okay, so with this id it's calling this component, which is we have assigned over here, and this will go to your Vue component. Okay, so your student table dot view. We are here now, and now guys you can just use the same template. So let's use this to design the user interface, and let's get below and paste. All set guys. This will be your table data over here. Let's remove this. Instead, let's keep a div tag where we will tell this is students data and one element button guys. So let's add that button button, which will be create or add student. Okay, and make this type as success or default, and use a at click is equal to, we are going to create a function where it will go to create function. Okay, so you can either create directly or else create this function as this. So let's keep it in this way. And now guys, for the script, let's copy from it. So you can copy full thing and paste that. Let's keep this model as empty right now. And on the mounted, we have to get the data, and we are not getting any props over here. We don't require. And yep guys, so now let's go top on this create function. Let's copy that and just paste here, add hyphen student, and we don't require this save form. Just remove this. Yep guys, and now let's see the output for this. So where, go to your routes web.php, copy the route called students and refresh. Okay, so you can see that student data, and this is your add button. Let's make it to side and start designing with the table. Let's move, and you can give a class load right, refresh. Perfect. So now guys, let's design the table. Let's move to our element.io website and search for table. Select here. So we get many designs guys. So we will be using a search box thing. Okay, so we'll be using this design guys, because we have a search box. So we'll make this search data also something like this. Okay, so let us just copy this. Need the table, not template. Just copy this and get back and paste that. So now we are going to modify this. We don't need like again and again to loop the table columns. So for that guys, I want to do something else, which is shown in this customization option. So at the last, you have all these columns where you can see that your stripe, max height, everything. Okay, in this table attributes, you will get how to customize this table. So let me just start with that. So now guys, let us remove all this. We don't require all these things. So this is our search box. So I have just aligned this guys, and now I want to use stripe where make it to true, and want to give the border for this. Let's make it true. This is for designing guys, this stripe and border. This data is the main thing where you'll get the data inside this. And let's give the minimum height. I want to show HEIG height is equal to where I want to show as 400. Save. And now guys, main thing, starts from here. Element, table, column. We are going to use for loop, where you will tell column in table columns. So this table columns, we are going to get the data, from where you will assign that into your data function. Okay, so let's give here, we don't need rules, so let's remove that. Colon, open and close. So before this, we are going to use that. First is colon key your column value dot label, and then the label, let's give label, the label will be as label, and then guys we are going to send the props, prop, where column dot prop, and next is column key, column hyphen key. Column key will be your column of prop. Okay, let's set the, that is minimum width is equal to your minimum width. You want sortable also, you can assign that sortable, which will be sortable itself. Let's copy and paste that. Next we are going to keep alignment. If we align like center and all, so at that time you can align. And next is header align. That header align, header means like name, class, we assign that same thing. So fixed is equal to column, which will be fixed, 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 or else we'll make it to null guys, so it should be accepting null. And then finally formatter. So this formatter comes under like active or inactive, that means boolean value we are going to check over here, formatter. That's it. So now guys we are going to check all this into our table column over here. So open, and we need an array, it's in curly brace. So first step, change this to array, and then guys you are going to start with curly brace, where first prop colon you are going to assign id. So this id is nothing but your data field, database field name, id, name, class, section, email. So these fields we are going to call in props, and then your label which you want to show on the table format, let's keep name. And if you want to set the minimum width, I think the correct spelling we have given, let's keep it 40. We do not need in double quotes. The spelling should be matching from your table which you have given over here. Okay, so this minimum width we have to assign. And then guys for sortable colon, I want to make it true, not it's colon. And then if you want to give as hidden, you can, but we want is false. Let's align this in center, and then guys make it to fixed, which will be true. So same way guys you are going to check for all the columns. So let's copy this, give comma, paste, and paste finally. So one is id, let's take the student database field name, and this will be the name id guys, so we don't need to give that name. And next is I need the class, take a correct value, this is same as your db field. Okay, and give the final one section. And then guys we need one email. Okay, copy and paste, this will be your email field, email, done. So you can keep the width for name, which will be, let's keep it 150, and other things if you require, let's keep it to 40 only, or else you can just make it to 80 default. Okay, let's save, and now guys, let's see the output. Let's refresh. Okay, there is some error. Let's see what is the error. Okay, it shows that center is not defined. It's inside the data function. Let's go. Okay, so here is the center, guys. Let's give in double quotes, so it's a string. And okay guys, and now let us once check that from beginning. So first we'll check the form name. Okay, we have entered the wrong thing. Let's give student table component this name. Just copy that and place it over here. And for this columns, table columns, let's see this also. Let's go top. Okay, oops, we have to give the bracket for this column itself, not for whole loop. Let's save, and now guys, successful. Okay, let's go refresh and check the output. Perfect. So guys, we have got the data done. So a sortable is for all the things which I don't want. So only for ID I want this sortable. So for that guys, you can just move and make it to false, this sortable as false. For name, class, your section, and the email. Save it, refresh. That's it guys. So there is writing, this is writing in some other language, so let's make it to English language guys. Let's go over here and move to internationalization, where we have to select with this language first. Copy, and paste inside the app.js. Let's paste, and now let's see the output guys. First let's refresh. Perfect. So we are getting in English language now, US. So guys, no data it's telling. Now guys, let's start with the Vuex to fetch the record. Let's go. First you need to move to your component, table component. At this mounted, you have to call the loading first. So let's tell loading is equal to this dot dollar loading, open and close bracket, open and close curly brace. Let's copy this code from our action.js, copy and paste. Let's remove this. All set. Now guys, once it's loading, this dot dollar store dot dispatch function, which you'll call get student. Okay, students data. So get students, we are going to create the dispatch which will go in the store.js file, and check that. With this, right now we'll fetch the data first. Okay, so now guys, let's copy this and go to dispatch, so which moves to store.js. So let's move to our store.js. Okay, and inside the store.js we have to assign the table first. So where is that table data? So table data, the same thing, name, here it is. Okay, so this table data we have to call it. Same variable we will use inside our store.js colon, where I want multiple data inside that. So just add this array option, and this option will be going to getters. So from this getter it will take to your store.js. So guys, for that, export default open and close curly brace, where your table data function open and close, where return state dot table data. All set. Inside this you are going to send the state, guys, state. So this function will be called from somewhere else, your state thing. Okay, so now guys, this table data will be called inside your store.js. How? From this importing getters. So from the getter you are going to store. Now guys, how to use this, your store and getters? So that will be used in the actions and your mutations. So go to your action and write the code, guys. So for that, let's write a code to get the data first and then commit to mutations. Export const get students, where open and close curly brace, commit, and then give comma, where your payload values if you send any data from there. So you're going to accept that data, open and close curly brace, and then guys over here you're going to write the axios. So let's copy from below the code and paste. So guys, first you are going to set the URL. Let's set this as students, or we'll tell get students data. And so let's remove that loader, and we don't need this also. Let's remove this. So once we get the data, we are going to commit function. So this commit function is a pre-built, okay, it's inbuilt thing, so you don't need to worry from where it's coming, it will automatically understand. So now you are going to set table data. Inside this you are going to get the response dot data. Okay, so guys, let's create a route for this and get the data first. Let's go to our web.php. So move to web.php and create a route colon colon using get method. No, we'll use post method, where get student data, add the student controller colon colon class, add fetch student data. Okay, copy this and let's go to the student controller and create one function, guys. So as simple, let's copy and paste, create the function students is equal to where get all the students data. So you can just assign student where all the data I want, return $students. Okay, semicolon. All set, guys, and let's get back to our action.js. So now you will get the data over here. Okay, so once you receive the data, you are going to commit, which will go to your mutation. So where is the mutation? Here it is, which will export default set table data open and close with curly brace, where guys first you are going to set the state. Okay, and then your table data. All set. And now state dot table data is equal to your table data. Okay, so now guys, you will get the set table data from your action. You're going to this and storing your table data into your state dot table data. Okay, so this state is nothing but your store. So this store is called as table data, where inside we store the data. Okay, and from where are you getting this data? You'll go to your getters. So from here you are going to define that state. It will get and give you that inside this. Okay, all set. So now let's get back to our table view component, and All set guys over here. Perfect. Let's, after loading the table data, we want to close the loading. So just use close function, loading dot close. So guys, now when you call this dispatch function, that is your get student. Okay. So after getting that, what it is setting. So you can see that in your action.js get students data, it's committing to set table data. So which is defined in the, you can see that it's going to state.table data. Okay. So you can go to your store.js and find that table data thing. So how will you get this? So you are going to get from the getters guys. So let's move, and this data you are getting in a table data. Okay, we are not using model. Let's remove this. Okay. Now here we have to create one component that is computed colon open and close. It's not computer guys, it's computed, and just give comma where you're going to use the map getters. So we have to give the map getters guys. So you can just go to your Vuex website. Okay, so you can find that getters, and here is a map getter helper. You can copy this function name. So let's copy that and paste. Then open and close curly brace, close the bracket. And now inside this guys, you are going to define table data. So this table data you have to call into your table. Okay, so this is the table where table data we have defined, and inside this value what you are going to send, your inside double quotes you will send the table data. Okay, so from where are you getting this data? You will copy this, you will get this data from your getters. So go to your getters, you can see this table function, table data function. Let's copy that, and you can again paste that over here. So this data will be defined in this, and this will call your table component. So guys, you are using map getters, so please import the class, import, that is your map getter from, obviously it's Vuex. All set. So now guys, let's see the output for this. Okay, let's refresh. Perfect. So guys, we have got the data, and here we see the error one warning, that is your search is not defined. Okay, I think this search box is not defined, so let's define that. Let's go to the table, and this is your search guys, model v search. So instead of search, let's write search query. So let's copy this and go to your data. Inside return, just give search query colon null. So right now we'll define it as null. Refresh. Perfect guys, so there is no error, and let's add the students. Click to add, and yep, so we are on the add student. Now guys, let's insert the data, one more record. Let me insert with Om Prakash BCA C section where om@gmail.com. Let's click to save, and saving data, student created successfully and redirected to students page where you can view the data guys. Perfect. So guys, let's see next about how to edit and delete these records, update the records. And now guys, in this we are going to learn how to edit and update the data. Okay, so guys, let's get started. So let's move to our VS Code, and here is our table component guys, that is our student table component, which is over here. Done. And now we have fetched that, and our edit button is find it over here. And now inside this guys, you will get the ID. So scope dot dollar index of scope dot row. Okay, so this will give you all the details of it, because this row is getting from your table row. So you need to understand about this element UI package. So from there you can understand how it's working on this. Okay, so guys, now let us test this. When I click this edit button, so you should get the row ID. So let's go below, and inside the methods you are going to, now you need to copy the edit name. So instead of handle edit, we'll write as edit data. Now let's copy this function name and go below the methods. So edit data function, open and close curly brace, and with comma. And inside this, guys, let's console log and see the ID first. So you can just tell row.id. Let's pass that. One is your index key and one is your row. Okay, so your table row data. Now guys, let us execute. So make sure your npm run watch is executed. Let's refresh. And let's click on the ID number 2. So edit. You can see that 2 data has come. Let's click on 1. So 1 data has come. Perfect, guys. So on this basis, we will start creating the code. So now let's remove this and give the Windows location code, where we will tell edit student with row.id plus /edit. So now let's copy this path and create a route, guys. So let's move to web.php and just create a route with this. Let's copy and paste. Edit student / with the id /edit. This edit one. All set. And now over here you'll go to edit function. So let's go to student controller and create a function with the name edit. So let's go to student function and move below, create a public function with the name edit function. Now first you will get your $id, and let's create a variable data is equal to in array format, where first will be our scope, SCOPE, scope of, which will make it to edit. Copy and paste, and this $id you will take and pass it in id, guys. So let's send this in id, and once done you are going to return view. Let me just copy this from here to student form. So same form will be going it. Okay, so let's see what happens there. So let's move to student form, and this is the form, guys. Over here scope and id is already defined. If id is given means it will take this, else it takes as 0. So let's go back to our controller, student controller, and from here back to our table component, guys. Now let's open the form. All set. So if you are not understanding how to do edit and update, please watch out from the part 1 so you can understand this flow. Okay, so now guys, let's move to top, and this is our form. Inside this form we will be pasting the data. So now guys, you are going to follow 2 steps. That is, inside your props you have got the scope. Okay, so scope is like we are getting the edit and we are getting one id also. So for that, let's define id, and that will be number, guys. Save. And next is, let's move on mounted, and on this mounted you have to get your Axios data. So for that, guys, you can start with the switch case, because for inserting the data we are using the same form, and for edit also we are going to use the same form component. Okay, so for that let's use switch, where this dot scope, open and close curly brace. So case of edit, when we are going to edit, that time you will be calling break, copy and break. Now guys, inside this you are going to run the Axios. So let's type ax dot get method dot then function, open and close, and inside the response we are going to get the data. So first we will create a code guys for this. Let's start with the backtick symbol. Fetch student field show by id / dollar this open and close curly brace this dot id. So this id is nothing but your this props id. So after getting the data guys, you are going to set out that. So you can use this dot dollar set function. So this is not hash, it is dollar. So dollar set function where this comma where my model column. So this is my model inside the data function. Inside that model, what I am going to set the response dot data. Whatever whatever results come from this route. So let's copy this and create a route for it. Let's go and route / get method, paste this. Over here you are going to send id, and then guys same controller will move, and you can show that edit data function. Let's go over there and create the function, public function with the name edit data, open and close, and inside this you are going to get id variable, and from this variable id you will get your student is equal to your student model / find function, and then get the result guys. So you can get the result as per this response, so your JSON response. Okay, so let's take this and pass this in a variable called data. All set. So now you will be copying this and let's move to a student form component, and inside this you will get the data guys. So response dot data because we are passing in multiple. So for this let's check the output. Once console log function, let's save, and now guys let's refresh once and see the output for this. Okay, so let's click on id2, edit, perfect, edit student with the id, and data has come over here guys, and the console log is also viewed correctly. Done, because we have used this data in data as your student controller where you are getting in a variable data. So this is sending over there and we are fetching that data guys. So let's comment this out, and yep guys, let's see the code to insert the data into a database, I mean update the data. So now let's get back. So now guys let's move below at our method where for saving the data we are using the same function. So our save form function, save student. So for update also we will be using the same function. So let's get back to our save function, and inside this guys we are going to give a condition. So let's use switch function, where inside this you are going to this dot scope, which we have seen this code for creating the student. Okay, so this you can put in a create case. So let's type create colon, where this will be inside the create case, and break it. So now let's use the second case for edit. Okay, all set, and same Vuex thing we are going to call. So let's copy this and paste. So instead of save student we are going to create a dispatch of update student. So this dispatch function goes to your actions and calls the function guys. So now let's copy this function name, and whatever data we are getting we are storing inside this and sending the data to update the data into our database. Okay, so once the switch case is done, we have to default colon and use the break. That's it, guys. So let's over here. After this, we have to send the ID also. So where you will use this dot model colon this dot model. With this, you are going to send the ID also. So let me just keep that ID colon this dot ID comma, all set. So this dot ID comes from your props. So this ID you will get, and the data, the model, you are getting from your data function, whatever data is insert present in that. All set. So with this ID and your this dot model, you will send to update function. So guys, now the work of dispatch is going to call action.js and call this function. So now let's copy this and move to our action.js, where we will, let me comment it. Let's copy this above function. So we save the time. Let's copy and paste over here. And first step, guys, we are going to get the payload value. From this payload, you are going to get your ID and model data. Now let's set the URL first. Give / dollar open and close curly brace, where inside this your payload dot ID. Okay, once you will get the ID variable, and one more thing, we have to get your model. So payload dot model. Make sure your spelling is correct. So this is the ID and model. Let's paste that. Now your URL is set over here and your data also is coming. Let's change the message, loader, updating, and once updated, you will show updated successfully. Perfect. So now guys, let's create a route for this to update the data into a database. So once updated, you are going back to where students page. Okay, so let's move to a web route and create a route with the put method. Okay, update student / ID. So we are going to use put method. So make sure you have given the form in your action.js as put method. We are going to use put method, so make sure you are adding put, not post. So yep, let's get back, and then guys, let's call the controller. Let me just copy from here, where update function. Let's go to our student controller and create a update function. Let's make comment. Let's copy the function from above of store. Let's copy this function name and paste. So you are getting all the request, that is your model data and your ID also from the URL. So with that help of ID, you're going to find the student ID, and then you're going to update those data. So the student, whatever data is there, let's make it to update, and once updated, let's show the message as updated successfully. All set. Now guys, let's take this message and show back into our action.js. So once updated, if you want to show over here, this is our customized one. So let's get from the backend itself. You can put response.data.message. Okay, so this is the response. From that response, you are getting the message which will show as updated successfully. So yep guys, let's go back to a student form control, and that's it guys. So 3 steps we have to follow. That is, one, our props, we are getting the ID, and we are sending the Axios request and getting them and setting into the model. So this is one way of setting the model, or else you can use another way, this dot model with the response data. From then you are going to save the function. Okay, all set. So let's test it guys. Let's get back, refresh. Okay, so you have got the data. Let me just, from Om Prakash, let's make it to Om N. Okay, and this one A section. Let's save student. So updating student updated successfully and redirected to students page, where you can see that data has been updated, guys. Perfect. So let's try to edit and let's update from Om to Om Prakash and from BCA to we'll make it to MCA, and this will be a B section, omprakash@gmail.com. Let's save student, updating, updated successfully, and you're back to students page. Perfect, guys. We have seen that how to edit and update the students data, and now guys, let's see next how to show the data without this fields as editing it. So right now it is editable, while showing it will not be editable. Okay, now guys, in this video we'll be learning how to show the data. So as we've seen that we have, when we click on edit, we will see all the fields in input field and edit and update that. So same way we are going to use that same function of edit to show the data. Okay, so guys, let's get started. So first let's move to this table structure of your table component. Now here is our student table. Let me just minimize this sidebar, and this is the edit and delete button, guys. So let me just copy and paste this button and make it as show, and we'll make it this as info. Save and refresh. Okay, so the button is not aligned properly, guys. For that you can just give a little space over here. Let me just remove the show. So from instead of writing show, let's keep an icon. So element icon hyphen view. You can keep for edit also, where you will mention as edit, and remove this from this edit, and this delete also, just remove that, and you can keep an icon. You can make it as delete. Let's save and refresh once again. Perfect. Okay, it's still not aligned, so let's give the minimum width, guys. So you can just move over here, template, I mean table column, where you can assign with minimum width. We'll give as 90. Let's save and refresh. Perfect. So now guys, when I click on this, we should move to show. So let's make this as show data function. Let's copy this function name and move to our methods and just create the function. Let's copy this and paste, and from this data function we are getting the index value and the row value. So we will be using the row. Let's change the path. So we'll tell show student. Now let's create the path, guys. Let's move to our webroute.php. Let's copy and paste this above function, I mean above route, where you will tell this function to show page. Let's copy this and go back to this edit function. Okay, so let's move where you can find this. So same thing you're going to copy and just change a few steps inside in it. We are getting the ID, and from that ID you are going to create this as show. All set. So this ID, make sure you have passed in your web.php. ID is passed. All set. Let's get back to a student component. Now let's test it. Refresh and let's click on it, guys. Let's click. So student with 1, but data did not come because we have not written the code. So now guys, let's go to our form, that is student form. I mean this, where we are coming over here. Okay. So yep, over here in the mounted function, you have a edit case. Okay. So we are going to fetch the data in this. So same function we will use it. So let's just copy and paste for the show also. Do not break here. Okay. So if you break, that case will be gone out. So if you set this, it will understand and execute that. Okay, let's refresh and perfect. So you have got the data guys, but it is editable. So let's make it like uneditable. So there is one required field. What we have to do, first we have to go to our computed function. So inside the student form, we need a computed function. Think we don't have here. Let's create that after the mounted computed colon comma, and inside this let's give read only fields, ds fields function, where you will tell return this dot scope double equal to show, which means we will set it to true or false. All set. So now this read only function will be assigned everywhere. So let's copy this read only function guys, and let's move to our form. So this is our form and the input fields. So at this input field, I'm going to use colon read only attribute is equal to this field. So read only field. So same thing, you're going to paste, paste and paste. Done. I think we don't require this placeholder. Okay, let's save. And now guys, let us see the output. Let's refresh. And yep, so it's not editable. Done. So guys, this is how we make a show data, but we don't need this button also. So for this guys, you just need to give one simple case over here. Let's do it on this gutter itself. So v if is equal to double quotes, where you will tell scope not equal to show. When it is not on show, this scope, the data which we are getting always to show that show create edit. If it's not equal to show, then show, or else it should show. Okay, let's save and let's refresh. Perfect. So that button is disappear guys, and it's on show. Let's get back. Let's move with adding student, where you can see that case is create and you have the button. Let's test for the edit also. Okay, let me edit on this. Perfect. So we have the button and it is editable over here. Okay, so let's get back and let's see on once again on show. You cannot edit, or you cannot see the button also. So guys, in this video, that's it. We have successfully seen that how to show the data without editing input field and hide the buttons in Laravel, Vue JS, Vuex. Okay, so guys, let's continue next about how to delete the data from our database using Vuex guys. So we are not going to use any Axios and all directly. We will use Vuex and delete this record. Where now guys, in this we'll be learning how to delete the data from our database using Vuex in Laravel. So guys, let's get started. So now let's move to our editor. Okay, so let's go to our table, student table component, and here is the button guys. So this is our delete button, so which is visible over here. Yep. And now guys, let's change this function name. So delete data we will keep. Okay, so let's copy this function name and go below, in our methods. So let's paste that, open and close, where inside this you are getting the index value also and your row also. So this row means your table data you will get. All set. So let's use confirm and delete guys over here. Let me use confirm function. If you want, you can use your sweet alert also in this way, but for right being we are going to use this. So are you sure you want to delete this data? Okay, so if you tell yes, obviously we are going to delete the data by using our Vuex. So dollar store dot dispatch function, where inside this you are going to write the code delete student, your function, where you are going to pass the id inside this. So id colon this dot id. Okay, so we don't have this dot id, instead we are going to get the, from that or delete button you're going to get the row dot id. That table id you will get it, and then you're going to delete it. So once deleted, what we are going to do, we'll fetch the data, I mean refresh the data. So you can either refresh or call back this same function, get students. So let's copy and paste. Once it's deleted, you will show this function, reload the table. Let's save. And yep guys, let's copy this function and let's move to dispatch. So dispatch is nothing but it goes to your actions, which calls the function from there. So let's paste here and let's copy this so we can save the time. Okay, let's paste delete function, and from this you are going to create a url delete student with the id, and then you're going to just send url, because we are not sending any data, so no value. And now once deleted, you can show it is success, and the message you will get from the response is deleted successfully. So once it's done, let me just comment this line, because we don't want to refresh, it will automatically reload the page. Okay, I mean reload the table data, so we don't have to refresh. All save. Now guys, let's copy this path and create a route. So yep, route colon colon, we'll use delete function. Okay, so if you want to use delete function, make sure you are adding your Axios route as delete. Okay, so inside your student, we are going to use delete, where we will use this delete in your route, and then get started with creating a route guys, where forward slash we are going to get the id and then move to your controller. So let me just copy from above the controller name, which will be delete. All set. So let's move to student controller. Let's go, move to last public function with the name delete function, where inside this you are going to get the dollar student is equal to your student colon colon find with the id which we have sent in the route. So same way you're going to get that dollar id and use the delete function to delete the data. So once deleted, you can show the message. Let's copy and show the message, where you will tell student deleted successfully, and this will be a 200 status. So now guys, let's save and let's see. Okay, refresh, and yep guys, so let's delete this data. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, student deleted successfully. The message we did not change over there, and the row is also not deleted. Let's refresh and check guys. So the data is deleted guys, but it did not refresh or reload the table, so you have to use something else. So let's set that. So before setting that, let's go to our action.js and change this updating to deleting student. So this is our loader. So when we click on delete, it will show deleting student. And after the success, I want to, okay, so now let's take this. So just control X. And now guys, you need to create one function. So let's tell that this dot fetch student data. Okay, so this will be the function, and where you will create this function over here inside your methods itself, fetch student data function, and call that dispatch again inside this. So instead of set student, why make it as like all? So it will be useful for every module. So let's send this. So fetch all data over here, and it will call this function and then execute the output. Let's save this guys, and yep, let's refresh once. Let's add one dummy data guys first. Okay, so is the some section at g.c, saving student done. Let's go back. Let me add one more data. Okay, so some random, so done at gmail.com. Let's save. All set. So guys, now I'm going to delete this center data, that is id 7, and then it should automatically load without the page reload. Okay, so now let us click on id number 7 to delete the data. Deleting student, deleted, and here is your data guys. So whatever, it just loaded automatically without the page reload. So guys, this is how we delete the data in Laravel Vuex with Vue JS. Okay, and now guys, in this we'll be learning how to make a search box in our Vue JS Vuex. Okay, so guys, let's get started. So first, let's move to our this table component, student table component, at this search box. Okay, and let's move to the search button. Here is our search button guys. Okay, type to search. So let's copy this model, that search query, copy and go below. Here inside the data function, we have assigned that search query also. And before this data function, you have to call the watch. So whenever we search directly, we have to check the data. So we should put under watch function. So open and close curly brace, give comma, and inside this you can assign the search query colon function, open and close, where, so from this function you're going to get all the I mean that where whatever you type inside this, so you'll get the data. So once if you get the data, we have to fetch these records. So what we are going to use the same dispatch function to get the data, but with the search query. So let's use the same dispatch. This dispatch get student. Okay, so same data, but we are going to integrate this one more thing, that is our like search query, not this dot search colon, this dot search query. Okay, so this dot search query is nothing but your data. So you will get from here, and you are going to send it in your get students. So same way, let's copy this and assign this in your mounted also, because we wanted to fetch the search data. So you have to work like this. If you're not understanding this how it is set, you have to watch the part 1. The link is given in the description, so you can watch from there how we are setting this, and then you can come to this search module. All set. And now guys, let's go to this get function, I mean get student of dispatch. So let's move to our action.js, and here is the get function. Okay, get student, make sure it is the same. So yes, it is correct. Let's get back, and inside this the payload you're going to send it. So you need to send over here. So right now we were just calling the data and sending it, but we are going to use search option. So whatever we get from there, we have to send it directly over here. So that is we are using post method to send the data. So let's save. No changes, guys. And now guys, when you send the request, whatever you're sending the actual request with this payload. Okay, so what is in the payload? So as you can see that we are sending this query, so we are posting the data, so you will get an input of search query. So guys, now let's write the code into our controller. So let's move to this, what is that URL, get students data. So let's copy this and search with that in our web route. Perfect. So this is the route, guys, and let's move to this controller at the function fetch student data. So right now it's written that we have to fetch all the data. Now guys, we will give a condition over here. So let's make something like query. Okay, so this will be the query, and if you get any request, so dollar request, before that we have to assign the request over here, because we are getting a request with the post method of search data. A request of what? A request of, let's move to table component, this code. So let's copy this search query, get back to your controller, paste. If it is like data is there, then you'll get inside dollar query of where condition. We are using query builders in Laravel. So use a function, use dollar request. Inside this you are going to give dollar $q. This dollar $q you are going to use it, or where, like what are the things. One is name. Okay, let me close this first. It's closed over here. Let me just remove this. All set, guys. Where you are going to give the condition, that is like, comma, inside single quote you are going to use percentage dot dollar request of what, your search query, whatever data you are getting from there, and you are going to assign it. So now you're going to dollar students is equal to your dollar query of get function. So now this value you're going to remove instead of all. Let me just comment and keep it for the reference. So over here you're going to select what are the fields you want. Let me just rename this as students. We'll just leave that so what it was before, and select what are the fields. So by default you have to select ID, that is compulsory, and then your fields. So let me just show you. So my fields is over your name, class, section, email. Okay, so these four fields I require it. Name, comma, class, comma, section, and the email. So these are the fields which I need. Let's save, and then guys you're going to use get function and return. Now let's see the output. Refresh. Okay, perfect. So there is no issue with working on this, fetching the data. And now guys, let's try with searching. I'm going to type BCA, and here you find no data. Okay, VED. Perfect. So we are only searching with the name. Why BCA did not found? You can see that we have written a query. Here is the query. Only we are searching with the name. Okay. So that means you are going to search only the name. Next is Varun, or let's search with the Mahesh. You can find that Mahesh over here. Perfect. So if you want, like, you want to find from the class also, so in that case guys, you just need to copy and paste this and just class. If you want email, add email. Okay, save, and all done. Let's once refresh. Not required, but okay. So let's search with the email guys. Ved@gmail.com we are getting. Let's search with BCA. So these are the BCA students. Let's search with the BCom, and these are two BCom students. So guys, this is how we implement our search box in our Laravel Vue.js with Vuex. So we are using Vuex in this crash course guys. So guys, in this video, that's it, and we have completed with this series, and now let's see with adding more up. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, and share.